Hi everyone, I'm here today with Stephen, talking through a bit about his background and what he does here at MaidSafe and the importance of his role here. So, hi, welcome.
Hi,
do you want to start off by just telling us a little bit about yourself, a bit about your background and why you decided to come and work here?
Sure, yeah. My name's Stephen Coyle. I've been working in IT for coming close to 15 years, say. So it started off getting tech support roles, gradually moved into software testing, kind of accidentally came into software testing, and I've been in software testing now for about, maybe 10, 11 years. Just built up some experience with that, worked at a few different companies, seen how companies work in different ways, and that kind of led me to where I am now. So how did I come about joining MaidSafe? So I was actually contacted about the role, and I was really happy in my previous role, so it wasn't really something I was considering doing, considering leaving. But it's probably the same with many people when you hear about MaidSafe and you hear what they're trying to achieve. It kind of stood out as something that I should probably look into. So I had a read up about the company, and before I knew it, I'd applied and I'd started working here. So
brilliant. And so how long have you been here for now?
Just over a year this month.
A year? Oh, well, congratulations.
Thank you.
So what is QA?
Okay, so QA stands for Quality Assurance. So I'm in charge of the QA department. So my official role is Test and Release Manager. So we deal with things like, I guess we start as part of the process for development. So say, for example, we want to add a new feature to a browser or something like that, then QA would be involved at the start of that process, questioning how that process is going to work, how the new feature is going to work. And we kind of view QA as having a kind of overall vision. So we work in all different parts of the system, all the way through from the back end right through to the front end. Whereas maybe developers, say for example, browser developers are focused on their particular part. So we try to look at things from a kind of different angle to the developers and try and find problems or point out problems, preferably before we'll even reach the development stage. But sometimes it takes getting it through into code and then we find the problems there.
Right, okay. So I was going to ask what a typical day looks like, but it sounds like because you're involved in so many different parts of it, a day is very, very different depending on what you're working on.
Can be, it really just depends what's coming through at the time. So some days you'll be working on one thing for the whole day. Some weeks you'll be working on one thing for the whole week. Other days you've got multiple things going on, which is probably more typical. You'll be spending a couple hours working on one project and then jumping onto something else, helping out with that, attending meetings, discussing things that will be coming up in even a few weeks' time, even in months' time. You'll be attending planning meetings and kind of coming up with a specification for something. So quite a varied role. We're kind of spread out across the whole company, so got a very important role, something that we take great pride in the quality that we put out there.
Why is QA so important in the network?
Okay, I'd say QA is important in the network because if we didn't have QA, then developers would probably be testing their own code, and sometimes when developers are working on a problem or a feature or whatever it is, they'll kind of go down a path themselves and they'll make assumptions that is the correct path to go down to, and it's always good having somebody who's separate from that, looking at the same problem to give a second opinion, whether to back up that they're doing the right thing, or to say, well, the original goal here was to hit this, and the path he went down ended up leading you slightly away from that. Those kind of things. So, or even just someone with different ideas to think of. For example, you've tried all these scenarios when you were developing it, but you've maybe missed this scenario. So it's just that someone having a different opinion.
Oh, brilliant, cool. So can you tell us a little bit how you work with the developers across the network?
Sure, so we work pretty closely with the developers. So we work right from the inception of projects all the way through to the final signing off of projects. So even out with particular projects, QA here, which is maybe slightly different to other companies, we chip in where we can. If we see a bug that's simple enough for us to fix, even if we're not Rust developers or JavaScript developers or whatever, then QA at MaidSafe quite often just jump in and raise a PR for the fix if we can see it. So yeah, we work really close. We do our best to kind of take any pressure off the developers as we can, try and free up their time to do the most important things. So.
Right. So QA are obviously heavily involved in RCI. Can you tell us a little bit more about that? Yeah,
so we've been taking more and more ownership of CI since I joined the company. So we're quite heavily involved now in the upkeep of our Travis and Appvia CI that we have on our repos. Also, we are in the process just now of introducing Jenkins. So that's going to help take pressure off Travis and Appvia and allow us to do a bit more testing. It doesn't even have to be CI. Jenkins can be used for running things like nightly builds, running them every night, and all sorts of other stuff. It can be used for releases, automating a lot of those things. So it's something that we're really excited about having on board, and one of the QA team has been working on that full time for a while now to get that up and running, and we're almost there.
Amazing, that's great news. Brilliant, so that's us going to wrap up today. Thank you so much for agreeing to chat to us. It's been really interesting finding out all about QA. If you could subscribe to our YouTube channel after watching this, and any questions, as always, pop them into the forum and we'll get back to you.